Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are digging into a brand new, totally mind-bending show from the guy who created Breaking Bad. And let me tell you, it asks one of the wildest questions I think I've ever come across.
So this new show, Pluribus, it just drops this exact thought experiment right in our laps. It takes this idea of a perfect world and turns it into something truly terrifying. It's the kind of premise that grabs you from the first second, and seriously, it does not let go.
All right, so how does a utopia like this even get started? Well, it all kicks off with one single word. The name of the show, Pluribus, it pretty much gives away the whole game plan. You know, it comes from that old Latin motto, e pluribus unum, out of many one. But here's the twist. In the show, this isn't some philosophical concept. Nope, it's a literal biological thing. We're talking millions of separate minds, all on the verge of becoming one single unified consciousness. Okay, so picture this. Scientists are listening to deep space, and they pick up a signal. It's coming from a real-life planet, Kepler 22b, which is like 600 light-years away. Everyone's thinking, is this it, first contact? But when they decode the message, it's not a blueprint for a spaceship or some message of peace. It's a recipe, a biological recipe for an RNA virus.
And the way this thing spreads, they call it the join. It's just terrifyingly efficient. It starts small, a lab mouse bites a scientist. Simple enough. But then, boom, it's in saliva, spreading through a kiss, and before you know it, they're literally spraying it from planes. A global hive mind pops up almost overnight. Just, wow.
But here's the thing. In this new world of perfect harmony, not everyone gets on board. And our hero, the one person who might be humanity's last hope, well, she's someone who pretty much hates the very idea of hope.
Let's meet Carol Sturka. She is not your typical hero, at all. She's this super cynical author, writes cheesy romance novels that she can't stand. She's angry, she's always drinking, and the actor who plays her calls her a total emotional disaster. And for whatever reason, she's completely immune to this happiness plague. She might just be the last real individual left on the planet.
And that right there, that's the core question of the whole show. Is her messy, flawed, real humanity, all the anger, the sadness, the whole package, is that actually more valuable than this perfect, peaceful, but totally artificial world? What do you think?
So to really get a handle on Carol's story, we kind of have to talk about the guy who created the show, Vince Gilligan, and his most famous character, because it looks like he's about to flip his own script completely upside down.
Right, so everyone knows Breaking Bad. It was all about a good man, Walter White, turning into a monster. Mr. Chips to Scarface, a total downward spiral. Pluribus seems to be asking, what if we did the reverse? What if we start with someone who is already a cynical mess and force them to become a hero? Instead of breaking bad, is she gonna break good?
And look, this isn't just us guessing. Gilligan himself has said he's kind of over the whole sexy anti-hero thing. He feels like we've made these bad guys seem cool when they should be a warning. He wants to explore a different path, someone who maybe learns that kindness isn't a weakness. Okay, but let's be real. This whole sci-fi story, it's not just about space viruses. It's actually a pretty powerful and honestly kind of scary warning about the technology we're all using right this second.
Vince Gilligan has not been quiet about his feelings on AI. He's not a fan. He basically sees it as a threat to the very thing that makes us human, our creativity, our spark. And you can feel that criticism in every single frame of this show.
I mean, just think about how the people in the hive mind act. They're always polite, always agreeable. Carol can scream at them, insult them, and they just respond with this calm, positive vibe. They avoid conflict like the plague. Sound familiar? Yeah, they act exactly like an AI chatbot. And that is 100% on purpose. And just in case you missed the memo, Gilligan makes this warning crystal clear. At the end of every episode, a message pops up in the credits. This show was made by humans. He's basically using this whole story to shout from the rooftops about the danger of losing that messy, creative part of ourselves.
And hey, for all you diehard fans out there, he's thrown in some classic Easter eggs. You'll notice the airline Carol uses is called Wayfair. Sound familiar? It should. It's the same airline from that massive plane crash in Breaking Bad. It's a cool little nod for anyone paying close attention.
So all of this, individuality, free will, what it means to be happy, it all boils down to one final, really tough question.
It turns out Carol isn't totally alone. She finds out there are 12 other immune people scattered across the world, 13 survivors in total. This is it, right? This is her chance to build a resistance and fight back.
But when she finally gets them all together, ready for this big save the world speech, she finds out something completely shocking. They don't want to be saved. Not at all.
They're actually having a great time. They're living in a world with no problems. One of the guys, Kumba, is just jetting around in Air Force One like it's his personal Uber. They're living in mansions, living the high life. And he makes a pretty good point to Carol, right? He asks her, the world has no war, no racism, no hunger. Why on earth would we want to save it?
And that just throws us right back to that impossible question from the very beginning. What would you do? Would you fight to get our messy, painful, difficult world back just for the freedom to be human? Or would you take the deal? Would you accept a perfect, peaceful, happy prison? It's a tough one. Is there even a right answer?